After 7 years from being absent on the big screen and the studio trying to turn the Halloween name into an anthology series, the audience demand to have Michael Myers back on the silver screen slashing away could not have been bigger. Creators John Carpenter and Deborah Hill at the time no longer had any interest to return to this white masked stalker, leading them to sell the rights off to the franchise, giving birth to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Hey guys, my name is Chris, and continuing the celebration of Halloween Kills being released next month, we're going through all the Halloween films that star Michael Myers. And yes, addressing the elephant in the room, because I did go ahead and skip over Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And just to be honest on why I went ahead and did that, one, it is because it's the only one of the Halloween movies that doesn't star Michael Myers slashing around, but 90% of the reason is because I have 4 weeks left until Halloween Kills comes out, and I still have 7 movies to cover. These videos take a while, so unfortunately, I did have to skip it, even though I think Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is a great horror movie that probably would have been a cult classic and even maybe have spun its own several sequels if it was never attached to the name Halloween and associated with Michael Myers. So just sticking to Halloween 4 Return of Michael Myers, this is going to be one of the more difficult sequels to cover for me because whenever I talk to Halloween fans or fans of the Michael Myers movies, one of the movies they always bring up as being their personal favorite is Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers. I don't know if it's because this was the big return for Michael back on screen at a time where people didn't think we were going to get any more Halloween movies, or this just happened to be a movie that dropped at the right time where a lot of horror fans were getting into the genre, and this was their gateway into it being a nostalgic comfort movie for them. Because while I'll admit Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers has a lot of sweet little nuggets in there that make the universe a little more exciting, in the end I do think Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers is a step down for the character and really just brought him to the bare basics, going from a revolutionary dark horror movie to a campy fun tone that is very rewatchable. But let's dissect this further with hitting play on Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers. So the movie opens up a little different here than the past previous Halloween films. Instead of getting the opening with the jack-o'-lantern and them orange credits, we are instead treated to landscape shots of Haddonfield in the middle of autumn. And even though this is a departure from those amazing opening credits that I loved, I think this sets up a perfect atmosphere and gets you in the mood for the Halloween season. This is one pat in the back I gotta give to this Halloween movie. From this opening, it leads us to follow a couple of ambulance drivers who are on their way to pick up a patient. And right away, this movie's get some brownie points for me because they do something I love: red lights! As these ambulance drivers are being walked off to their patient, the security guard at the hospital starts to inform them and the audience about what has happened in the past Halloween films. We learn that Michael Myers happened to survive the fire at the end of Halloween 2, has been in a coma all these years, is horribly disfigured, and is for some reason needed to be transferred the night before Halloween. It's all stuff as Michael Myers fans that we have to get used to and just put aside that all these different coincidences that they have to put together just to set us in the right atmosphere for a Halloween movie. It has to be set on Halloween. Michael will have survived whatever horrible tragedy he went through in the previous movie, and thanks to the family connection they set up in Halloween 2, it'll be the reason he decides to murder again.
Did Hoffman say anything about living relatives?
Yeah, a niece living in his hometown.
Waking up and leading to one of our first big kills in the movie is this guy getting his head smacked on the wall, then Michael just grabbing his thumb and shoving it right between this guy's forehead. Like, what? I love the crazy serial killer strength they decide to give Michael Myers, especially since he was just in a coma for 7 years, hasn't moved a muscle, but has the strength to push a thumb through a guy's head? Then we're introduced to who I think is the real star of this movie, Jamie Lloyd, played by the wonderful Danielle Harris. Like, this kid, for a basic little slasher movie, was acting her butt off in this film. We find out through some visual cues that this is the daughter of Laurie Strode from the first 2 Halloween movies, that not only had a daughter, but also has just mysteriously passed away. Which, yeah, might be a bummer that they didn't bring Laurie Strode back, but I do like the fact that they paid a little homage to Laurie by naming the daughter Jamie after Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress who played Laurie Strode. In my headcanon, I'd like to think Creepy Jimmy finally went ahead and killed that girl he was stalking in the hospital. We try to warn you, Laurie! But even though Jamie wasn't alive for the events of Halloween 1 or 2, she is still dealing with trauma of Michael Myers in her nightmares, as she happens to go through one in the beginning of the movie of Michael being in her bedroom and following her. That's something I kind of wish they would have elaborated a little more on. Is this like a psychic link that Jamie and Michael Myers has now that he's alert and awake out there? Or was Laurie Strode just that bad of a mother and telling bedtime stories to her daughter that she shouldn't have been telling her?
Mommy, can you read me when you give a mouse a cookie tonight? Jamie, we've been through this. I either tell you how your father seduced me that night at the hospital, or how I was chased by a white masked stalker. Your choice, lady. I'll go with the boogeyman story again.
And even though this was a nightmare, Jamie was still able to get an accurate description of what the new Michael Myers mask is. And since I like talking about each mask that Michael Myers wears in his films, let's dive into the Halloween 4 mask, cause what is this? At this point, the original Halloween mask was a little too deteriorated and wore up to be able to use for this film, so they had to create a new mold. And some of the key details about this mask that just make it stand out and seem weird to me is, I'll be straight up with you guys, Michael Myers' face here looks like he's some sort of insurance salesman. Hey, Mikey, couple of boys and us, we're gonna go get some drinks, you want in?
Yes. One second. No, it's a beautiful home right in Haddonfield, yeah. Only issue is I killed my sister in it about 10 years ago, but that can all be washed away.
It's not only the fact that the mask is just overly white, but this is the first time they actually give him eyebrows, where in the previous incarnations, the eyebrows were really white, and instead it was lighting that was kind of giving the effect of eyebrows on the mask. But it's the way they also have them painted on that Michael looks more surprised than angry. Also, the lack of definition on the cheekbones on this mask, where they don't have any grayed in detailing to give off that effect like Michael is emotionless, where this guy looks like he's about to ask you a question but is waiting respectfully. It's not going to be the worst mask in the series, but man, it is one that is not as terrifying as the rest. As Jamie goes ahead and informs her foster sister Rachel about the insurance salesman Michael Myers, we meet back with my personal favorite character of the Halloween franchise, Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance. Watching Halloween 4, it's good to know that Loomis survived his stabbing from Michael, instead just getting away with a cane, and also was not burned to a crisp, but was left with some rather nasty scars. Here, however, Dr. Loomis is pissed that they decided to transport Michael Myers without informing him. And even in his first little interactive scenes in the movie, you can tell this version of Dr. Loomis has fully gone crazy. He has lost his marbles after the years of chasing Michael, even to the point where his speeches are no longer as effective as they used to be.
You let them take it out of here.
For Christ's sake, spare me the speech. I've listened to it for a decade. The fact is that Michael Myers...
No, Lord, please. You've taken away my beautiful face, not my speeches. I'm nothing without them.
And of course, because you should never doubt Dr. Loomis, our characters find out that Michael Myers did indeed escape, with Loomis already knowing exactly where Michael is headed. And on his way to Haddonfield, Michael Myers knows it is Halloween day, meaning the boy needs to suit up, making a pit stop at a body shop where he impales a mechanic for his outfit. Now, as much as I believe these horror icons should always be having their similar look, I would not have minded if Michael stayed with the bandaged up face for most of the movie. I think it is actually a pretty badass look and isn't that far off from his Michael Myers mask, being that it is all white. But even though Loomis is walking around with his pimp cane, he still seems to catch up to Michael Myers being at the body shop at the same time he is there, finding the body of the mechanic and the poor woman who was forced to stare at photos of Abraham Lincoln all day long. Is that a thing? Loomis finally coming in contact once again with his patient Michael, where my point is proven further that this outfit would have been awesome for the entirety of the movie. Even though there's already a continuity error, didn't Michael just stab the mechanic in this outfit through the body? Where is that hole? But Loomis, knowing Michael is immune to his speeches, decides to draw, aim right at the boy, take a shot, and Michael has somehow become Neo from the Matrix and completely dodged bullets. That's not even the funny part to me, it's the sound effect they use when Loomis took a shot.
God damn you.
When I was a kid, I didn't think that was the bullet making that sound. I honestly thought that was Michael running away like the Roadrunner. Beep beep. Because that's the same sound effect. But just like Coyote and Roadrunner, Michael the Roadrunner gets to get away, leaving an explosion behind for Loomis that I'm pretty sure was just meant for the trailers, because why did this happen? Back in Haddonfield, we get a better idea of what kind of kid Jamie is. She gets bullied in school for having a serial killer uncle, the fact that her mother's dead, all stuff that I don't know how these kids found out, and even if they did, why are they being so mean? But Rachel, the foster sister, wants to cheer Jamie up, deciding to take her to the store to pick out a Halloween costume, letting the audience meet up with some of the hot young teens that'll become body bags in this movie. As Jamie goes off to pick out a costume for Halloween, we get a better interaction between Rachel and her boyfriend, Brady, who's very upset right now at the Halloween 1978 cliches they set up for slashers, because as one of the lead characters, unfortunately, Rachel do not be giving it up, Brady, forcing this Chad to look around the store for the next pair of pumpkins. We cut back to Jamie, who has seemingly found the Halloween costume she wants to wear, only it is a striking resemblance to the costume her uncle wore the night he first first murdered, the clown costume. Jamie's nightmare is interrupted by Michael Myers, who has finally found his iconic mask. Very convenient, to say the least, that any store in Haddonfield would be carrying that mask with the hate this town would have for Michael Myers. We come back to Dr. Loomis, who is hitchhiking his way to Haddonfield, only to be picked up by one of the strangest Halloween characters we'll ever meet in the franchise, Reverend Sawyer, and I really have no comment for this situation. It is a very creepy, wild interaction that I can't tell is being played for laughs or for chills. All I know is when I saw this as a kid, I swore Dr. Loomis drank piss. I'm not joking. Just look at the way Dr. Loomis looks after he takes a sip of whatever was in that bottle. But since we're on the topic of crazy, let's talk about how Michael Myers knew exactly who his niece was, where to find her, and where she lived in Haddonfield, even though he'd never seen her, never knew her name, only just found out she existed through an EMT saying he had a niece. It's these things in Halloween 4 that make me feel like they downgraded the franchise into just being a basic slasher where you shouldn't be thinking about all these little details, and just accept the fact that Michael knows exactly where he's going because he needs some sort of motive and mission in this movie, thanks to Halloween 2 making the family connection. Only emphasizing further what I meant in my Halloween 2 review, where I don't think giving Michael the motive of going after family is bad, but if you make a sequel where that's all you do with the Michael Myers character, like they did here in Halloween 4, it's no wonder they had the ending they had in this movie, which we'll get to. Loomis finally arrives to Haddonfield to warn the police station about Michael coming into town, in a scene where Dr. Loomis just loses his lid and goes full crazy.
I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this town. He's here to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way.
And it's some of the stuff I love most about Halloween 4 is just the character arc that Loomis goes through, from being the calm therapist that was supposed to be guiding this young boy to now this insane wild eye, nothing can help him, we need to kill him, and I don't care if I sound like the craziest person in this room. Not to mention it just kind of breaks your heart a little bit for little Loomy. Thankfully, Sheriff Meeks goes on to listen to Dr. Loomis as he should, enforcing a curfew on the town and informing a lot of blue-collar people that it's time to go home and leave them bars. As Haddonfield is preparing for the reckoning of Michael, we see that Rachel does find out her lover boy Brady decided to dip his hands in someone else's trick-or-treat bag, and honestly, I don't even know what Brady's excuse was going to be at this point when he was trying to calm Rachel down. But as Brady's trying to explain to Rachel why it's her fault for what he's doing, we see that Michael has upgraded to the Supermax level. Instead of going and individually cutting phone lines from each building like he's done in his previous movies, he's going for the whole damn electricity circuit. That is, unless Bucky here gets in his way.
Bucky? Who the hell is Bucky?
And again, even though that might seem a little random, it fits with the MO that Michael has had in putting his prey in situations where they can't call for help. Heck, the movie stays so loyal to Michael's MO, he even kills a damn puppy in this movie. It's 2021, we still haven't canceled Michael for killing dogs. The hell, society. But Loomis and Sheriff Meeks finally go ahead and meet up with Rachel and Jamie, informing them of the danger they're in, only to be surrounded by the Spider-Verse of Michael Myers? Oh no, Loomis, Meeks, get out of there. I've seen this movie before! Turning out that it's just a couple of kids wanting to play a prank. The cojones on these kids to be in front of sheriffs do they not remember what happened to the last man who just walked the streets in a Michael Myers mask? Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Meeks, thinking it's the safest bet to go and hide out at the police station, arrive only to find that their men have all been killed off, rendering the police station unsafe until the drinking boys of Haddonfield show up to save the day, offering a helping hand to go find Michael. And I don't see what could possibly go wrong. We know what the police station does to people. And they even give a good enough motive why one of the citizens would be willing to help go fight Michael.
Let it be, Earl. Let the police handle it.
Like the last time?
Al here lost his boy 10 years back.
Well, not this time, Ben. I'll handle this my own way.
Wait, Earl, your family name is Tramer, right? Yeah? Why? No reason.
But the drunk Avengers go ahead and start patrolling Haddonfield looking for the white masked Michael Myers, spotting him in a bush and just taking fire like there's no tomorrow.
Avengers! Assemble.
The boys, ready to claim their victory and hang Michael's head on top of their fireplace, realize they killed an innocent man. What is going on with these Halloween movies and killing innocent people? Nonetheless, our characters are forced to stay in Sheriff Meek's house, Jersey shoring it up, even complete with drama in the house.
Have some coffee.
But even secured in the house, Sheriff Meeks knows he needs to go check up on the drunken Justice League, Dr. Loomis leaving as well, as he believes Michael will most likely show up to Jamie's current house. But that should be no problem at all, because the girls got the men taken care of in the Shore house, with the sheriff's daughter finally putting on some appropriate clothes and providing drinks to the men. I do love this line though in the movie.
It's pretty boring out here. Wish they'd fix the power. At least we'd have some MTV while we wait for the cavalry.
While that might seem perfectly fine today, back in the 80s, that was one of those modern references people rolled their eyes at, like, if this happened today.
Yeah, it would be nice if they fixed the power. We have the full battle pass on Fortnite if you guys want to check out some of my skins.
But when setting down the drinks, Kelly Meeks does find the officer who was supposed to be in the chair dead, leaving her in shock wondering who actually is in the chair, and it was none other than Michael Myers. That again, hats off to Halloween 4 for continuing on with the MO that Michael has had in his previous films, because we know Michael likes to joke around with his victims and be a little funny. Instead of getting in a sheet with glasses, the boy sat in a chair with a gun, pretending to be the sheriff, until he could finally find someone to blast off with the shotgun without using the shotgun. I'm so happy Michael didn't pull the trigger on that. There's nothing worse than a beloved serial killer using guns to kill. Like, that's so boring. But when they actually use a gun to kill, now that's cool. Leaving the remaining living people in the house, Rachel, Brady, and Jamie, off to face Michael. Smart guy Chad realizes that one of his side pieces is now dead, forcing him to stick with the virgin and save her life, hoping that lets him inside the trick-or-treat bag, putting him in a position where he has to fight against Michael Myers. In probably what is my favorite interaction of this entire movie, I love it when a character will try to go toe-to-toe with someone like Michael Myers, who is just unstoppable and filled with unbelievable strength. Just the way he stops the punch. And then just takes out Brady with no effort is the campy fun kills that makes this just fun to watch on Halloween. But we follow Rachel and Jamie, who have headed up to the attic and started to figure out the weakness of Michael Myers. He must be some sort of video game character, or else why would they just fill up random knickknacks on the stairs to get in the way of Michael? I really don't know how they thought that was going to play out. Michael Myers then chasing them to the rooftop where they have to battle it out.
Oh my god, lady, you're okay, right? Rooftop injuries are very expensive to my company.
Jamie getting away with Loomis, deciding to go hide it out in the school where the ghost of Ben Tramer comes back to life, as this Michael Myers has blonde hair and pink skin. Apparently, this was supposed to be the mask that Michael would wear for the movie, but last minute they decided to repaint it and go back to the white face and brown hair, and just mistakenly left this Ben Tramer ghost in the movie. Rachel and Jamie are able to escape the clutches of Ben Tramer Michael Myers, meeting up with the drunken boys of Haddonfield, who are like, look, we've done some stuff, we're about to leave town. Can you join us? Exiting the town of Haddonfield, where they believe they are now safe from the clutches of Michael Myers, only to realize the boy managed to hide under the car the entire time and start slashing and stabbing up these guys off the truck. Ending off his kill spree with going after the driver of the truck, grabbing his face like it's some sort of Halloween mask, trying to rip it off, forcing Rachel to take the wheel, driving Michael Myers into a cemetery, where police officers from the neighboring town close in on Michael Myers. But before they can get a couple of shots in on him, we do have this interaction between Jamie and Michael, letting the audience know that Jamie does have some sort of connection to Michael, as she feels sympathy for him getting hurt. That doesn't last too long, however, as Jamie is finally moved out of the way and they blast off Michael, killing him off for good, at least in this movie. It seems like the night of terror is finally over for the people of Haddonfield. Dr. Loomis can now rest knowing Michael is dead. Jamie's foster mother ready to celebrate with a bath for her daughter, only for us, the audience, to get a POV shot very similar to the night Michael Myers first killed when he was a kid. only to find out it is Jamie herself that has caught the Myers bug and is now a killer. This ending I absolutely love to the 100%. It is the thing that would have redeemed Halloween 4 for me to be a new setup for the future of the franchise, because it very much seemed like the new people who were in control of Michael Myers for Halloween 4 were out of ideas on what to do with this character, as they resorted to just rehashing stuff that they had seen from his previous films, and instead all being a setup for a new killer to take the reins, Jamie, where all throughout the movie we were getting clues that Jamie would pick up the knife and continue the Myers legacy, even more so because I love the reaction Loomis had to seeing Jamie be the new killer. The shock on his face, the way he yells no and does not even hesitate to point the gun and almost kill a little girl, just shows you the trauma and fear that Dr. Loomis has at the fact that there could be another Michael Myers killer amongst them. This could have been the next revolutionary step in the slasher genre to do something wildly different out of the box that I would have loved to have seen the ripple effect it would have had on other slasher movies. Because can you imagine if this ending happened in a Halloween film today? Ooh, them YouTube woke boys would go crazy. Sadly, we know this ending doesn't last and they'll explain it away in the next movie, but in a world where we live in, where Michael Myers is constantly given different timelines and retcons to different things, if they ever want to retcon again, I would love for them to pick up after Halloween 4, where they make Jamie the killer. But those are just all my opinions on Halloween 4. I want to know from you guys, how do you feel on this movie? Is it one of your favorite Halloween films? If it is, tell me why. I'm honestly very interested to know why so many Michael Myers fans have this movie up really high on their personal favorites list. But until then, I'll catch you on the next Halloween review.